We announced this before anyone else in the media. We had it first, as ever. Meghan Markle. Now, I wasn't aware that she was going to launch it within hours of our discussion, but a part of me wonders if we pushed her to it because it's clearly not ready to go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Meghan Markle's mysterious new venture, As Ever. Is it the next big thing in luxury branding or just another overhyped project? Celebrity expert Kinsey Schofield has spilled some serious tea that changes everything.
It certainly isn't. Yeah, you and I were talking one day after my show, where live you kind of revealed, you broke the news that suddenly American Riviera Orchard was no more, and that Meghan had renamed her long-term struggling lifestyle site as Ever. Now, look, there's a couple of things. Well, there's obviously loads of things to talk about here, but first of all, let's talk about the name. She's really weird. She doesn't understand the meaning of words or the meaning of phrases. So when she called her podcast series Archetypes, well, an archetype that's a derogatory term, archetypal, stereotype. So she tried to sort of raise that to some sort of, prestigious mantle. And now she's renamed American Riviera Orchard as Ever. Now, how do you say As Ever? You always go, As Ever, As Ever, As Ever. It is not an upbeat kind of a phrase. So I think it's a terrible, terrible name. And it's a desperate measure as well, isn't it? I mean, she's going, oh, it's so great because, American Riviera Orchard tied me down. What is she talking about? What on earth is she? What do you mean tied you down? You mean you just plucked the name out of the ether and found yourself enmeshed, mired in loads of legal difficulties, and a whole year later, after untold legal battles, untold legal wrangles, obviously Netflix have turned around and said, tell you what, Meghan, let's just call it something else. And they've come up with As Ever, which is just the worst name ever, if I can say that.
So grab your popcorn because we're about to break it all down. Now let's get into it. So what exactly is As Ever? According to reports, it's Meghan Markle's new brand, one that seems to blend luxury fashion, home goods, and wellness. It sounds fancy, right? But here's the catch. There's been almost no official announcement. Instead, just whispers of trademark filings and speculative headlines.
And what does it mean? And why has she suddenly done this now? And she's trying to frame it like, oh, it's so great. I was so tied down by American Riviera Orchard and Netflix have been so fantastic. Oh, this is fantastic. Marvelous. Marvelous. No, it's not. This is an absolute desperation measure, trying to get a dead duck off the ground, trying to resuscitate the world's worst business dead duck and make something of it late in life. Good luck with that. And then she goes on about what she's going to be selling, what it's all about. And basically, it's like nice things, nice things overpriced. Now, I think that the entire story of American Riviera Orchard and now As Ever is a metaphor for how it will struggle. The backstory is a nightmare, is a total mess. She launches it, nothing happens. 1 year on, nothing is for sale. She makes a sort of stupid video of her mucking around in a kitchen, and you think, well, what's she going to sell? She's still not selling anything. And we know she's had trouble getting suppliers. She's had lawyers all over her because of the name and due to other considerations as well. She's got nothing to sell. So all of a sudden, it's an emergency. All change. It's an emergency that's going on now. And she's acting like it's brilliant. This is what I always wanted. Isn't it fantastic? So, and
the cat's out of the bag. Like, no.
It's not what she's putting on Instagram now. It's just not true.
And if that wasn't suspicious enough, Kinsey Schofield just revealed some behind-the-scenes details that could change the entire narrative. Kinsey Schofield, a royal commentator, just exposed shocking facts about Meghan's new project. She suggests that As Ever might not be as glamorous as it seems.
I think you're totally right. And would you believe me if I told you that a Spanish town is considering legal action against her because her logo looks so strikingly similar to I'm sorry, I'm spacing on that. The arms,
the town
the
logo.
coat of arms. They have a coat of arms. And so
Right.
they're now considering suing her because they look identical, which is just classic Countess of Copy, Countess copycat. That I want to ask you about the video because you sent it to me earlier this morning. I don't know if it was before or after you had your breakfast. I'm worried about which one. But talk to me about Meghan calling Netflix her partners. You are an employee, Meghan. You can get fired at any second. Why? What is she trying? I feel like she's trying to stick it to people like us that are constantly critical of her. When she calls Netflix her partners, she seeks the most bizarre validation.
Yeah, she wants like equal billing with Netflix as if they're working together. Well, what Netflix are doing right now are desperately trying to make any money, trying to recoup the vast amounts of money they've frankly wasted on the gruesome twosome, on Harry and Meghan. Yes, they've got some product out of it. They got a reasonable documentary series, the Harry and Meghan series. But apart from that, they haven't really recouped any of their vast investment in this couple. So that's why Netflix, late in life, said, right, we've got this lifestyle show coming out with Love Meghan. Let's get involved in her products. Let's take American Riviera Orchard and see if we can make some money out of it. So they've definitely come in and said, right, we're tearing up the copybook. Forget about American Riviera Orchard. That name is dead because it's not working. New name. Let's launch. Let's start selling your jam in Texas and Philadelphia. See how we get on. Let's coincide it with your lifestyle show. And just maybe we might make some money. But who is calling the shots here? It's not her. It's not her. It is a massive business that is worried about losing a lot of money. She's doing what she's told, but she's acting almost as if she's in charge of Netflix, as if she somehow is Netflix's most valuable possession. She's a basket case for them, and they're hoping against hope at this late stage with this coinciding between the show and the jam on sale in Texas that just maybe they might make some money, but I think it's pretty desperate stuff. I think deep down, they don't really expect this to work. And if they do, I've got very bad news for them. I think the chances of it working are extremely slim indeed.
Rumors say Meghan and Harry are scrambling after their Spotify deal flopped. Schofield hinted this might be a rebranding tactic to escape backlash. Let's be real, celebrity brands can go either way. Some, like Fenty by Rihanna, become global powerhouses. Others, well, they crash and burn faster than a royal scandal. Meghan has no proven track record in business.
That's the truth. Now, she announces this with I think her opening line is the cat's out of the bag, and she goes on for the next few minutes to explain try to justify every hiccup she's had over the last few years. I don't let me forget to ask you about the line about how she hasn't been able to show people how she loves gardening, and she's not been able to over the last few years. I mean, the princess escaped the tower 5 years ago, Kevin. She's had plenty of time over the last 5 years to show us anything. They're lazy and unorganized. But does it strike you at all odd that the website is just an email collection site, which is the exact same thing we stared at for the last almost year at AmericanRivieraOrchard.com? It reeks to me, like you suggested earlier, that we got wind of this and she wanted to kill the scoop. So she rushed to create this video, and she says, I want to tell you first. You can say I want to tell you first all you want, but you and I had a conversation about it hours before she released that video.
And it's also this sort of breathless little girl act. I'm so excited. I got my business. Oh, my business with my partners at Netflix. She's not an excited little girl. She is a ruthless, calculating, failed businesswoman. I mean, let's underscore all of this. She's not very good at this stuff.
Yes.
She's not a particularly successful actress. She's a very, very unsuccessful documentary maker. She bought the rights to a film that hasn't been made. And this business venture of hers, which took the principle of the TIG, her lifestyle site when she was in Suits up in Canada, and tried to turn it into a big money-making machine. It's a fair enough idea. Now, as a sort of marginally successful actress in a cable show drama, little lifestyle site, as such, wasn't a failure. Quite nice to look at.
Insiders claim As Ever lacks the credibility and marketing power to survive. Betting on her name alone, Meghan could be in for a rude awakening. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Is As Ever a scam? Some royal watchers think this could be a money-making scheme. Kinsey Schofield pointed out that Meghan's past projects, like the TIG and her children's book, never really took off.
Turning it into an international global business. Some bimbo on the West Coast going, it's my jam, it's my honey. Oh, you want to buy some towels? No, not really. I just can't see how it's going to work. So everything about what she gave us in that video, everything that she now stands for, is a kind of falsity. The latest desperate measure to try to make her ongoing procession line of failures actually work at last. Now, who knows? Who knows? Maybe it will work. But I suspect at Netflix Towers, they're not banking on it.
Yeah. I just want before anybody gets mad at you for calling her a bimbo, she called herself a bimbo on the Archetypes podcast regarding her Deal or No Deal gig. So I don't want anybody to be mad at you about that. What else was
I don't care if they are mad about me calling her a bimbo. That probably is a bit unfair, but hey ho, she puts herself in the public frame. You have to take the slings and arrows as well.
That's true.
Maybe that's a bit unfair, but I don't care.
Well, so I forgot to mention remember she did, according to Richard Eden, prematurely launch American Riviera Orchard to kill his scoop. So that was my point on the last question.
Yeah,
I could have mentioned that in my statement. But so you talking about how this is like rebrand number 35, basically is what you just said. Well, there was a quote in the Daily Mail. The title of the article is called Another Brand Disaster, where someone says, this is an expert, says, the more unpredictable she is, the harder it is to take her down. She's not trying to be Goop. She's trying to be a mystery. The product she's selling, endless curiosity about Meghan Markle. So maybe she's not losing control of her narrative. Maybe we are. I think she looks schizophrenic. And the only thing that has been interesting about her is her time within the British royal family. And she has said everything I think she's capable of saying about that. The royal family refuses to have anything to do with her going forward. And if she continued to talk negatively about the British royal family, the anger towards her would only get stronger. So she really is limited. We're not curious about her. It's like watching a train wreck. She left this really cush, privileged life for what?
So could this be another overhyped failure? Or is Meghan trying to carve out a new path outside the royal drama? Fans and critics alike are keeping a close eye on what happens next.
I think the reason we watch is because we can't believe what we're seeing.
Exactly right, Kinsey. And you mentioned the Daily Mail over here in London, and their headline on this story when she suddenly said, "Oh, it's brilliant! We've renamed it As Ever." Their headline in a big national newspaper here in Britain was, "Is this Meghan's latest disaster?" This is the scenario she finds herself in now. People just expect her to screw up, screw up and then screw up again. And that's all she's done for the last couple of months. She's screwed up going to the Los Angeles fires badly. She's screwed up with that Billie Eilish video, absolutely ridiculous and tasteless. She screwed up at the Invictus Games by, frankly, stealing the limelight and making that excellent event all about her. So on and on it goes. And then suddenly we've got this again. So the narrative she finds herself in, this is what people are thinking about her, is how will this woman screw it up next? Is this Meghan's latest disaster? And you make a really good point as well, Kinsey. If we go to the big picture, you know, what was it now, 3-4 years ago? She was, you know, in effect a princess in, okay, Duchess, but you know what I mean, a princess in the castle in Britain, you know, living the dream. She really was a frontline royal, mixing with the Queen, living in palaces, flying around the world, doing amazing tours with her husband, whole life ahead of her. She didn't like that much. Here we are 4 years on. What's she doing?
Yeah.
Selling jam, and pretending that all's well in her world when it's just clearly not.
And the idea that she's basically plagiarized a coat of arms. She has, with her logo, that it could potentially inevitably be challenged in court. It gets no better than this. But you know, with American Riviera Orchard, I talked to a branding expert who had no opinion of Meghan Markle whatsoever, and she said, I think it's odd that she's insisting on using something that looks so similar to you know, a royal crest for American Riviera Orchard. I think it was the calligraphy. The logo somehow looked like
it looks similar to a royal logo.
Yes, and so to me, I'd say to you, she has not been a royal longer than she was a royal. What is the insistence from her? Is this the only thing that gives, in her mind, is this the only thing that gives her credibility, that she clings to this? Because it's hard for a lot of people to digest a woman that complained so much about an institution and was so hateful about an institution towards the last few years of the Queen's life, making it a living hell.
So, what do you think? Is As Ever Meghan Markle's next big flop, or does she have a shot at making it work? Let me know in the comments below. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss updates on this story. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.